Hi everybody. I've had a few people contact me about treating your cats for coronavirus and having a coronavirus-free cattery and what that would mean and whether it's something they should be doing. And I wanted to share my thoughts on this, and these are just my thoughts and my opinions. But I'm really not into the idea of bubble breeding. So bubble breeding is where you breed your cats in a bubble and they don't get exposed to anything. And the reason I have problems with this is because, and we've seen this before, I've been breeding a long time and I was pretty much around when coronavirus and FIP were actually first a thing. So I've seen lots of stages of this in various forms. And I've seen this with herpes virus in particular, where people say, my cats, I've fully eradicated herpes virus from my cats. The thing about it is that they can catch it again as soon as they get exposed to it. So if you're bubble breeding, you can't take your cats to shows, you can't take your cats to vets, you can't sell cats to people that will have other cats. Anyone that gets cats from you can't take them for boarding, you can't have them, you might sell a kitten to someone who then looks after their mum's cat for a week and their kittens get it from there. So bubble breeding kind of doesn't work. But here's the other thing about bubble breeding that I want you to think about. And it's just my theory, but I'm putting it out there. When we first had cats coming down with FIP and coronavirus, there was whole lines of cats wiped out. There were people having litters of cats that had, 5 kittens in the litter and 4 of them would die from FIP. And back then, everyone that got it, every kitten that got it, 100% fatal. There was nothing we could do. Now we have something we can do. The thing about it is, though, that in those kittens dying, it was horrendous, and this is not a good thing, but the effect of that was that if those kittens were getting the coronavirus and having it mutate into FIP because of an inbuilt genetic immunity issue, then those kittens were taking themselves out of the gene pool. They didn't make it to breeding age. They weren't able to be bred from. So this act of the big wipeout that happened back when it first was a thing, that I remember this happening, that removed all of that from the gene pool for those breeders and for those breeds. It was a really sad way for it to happen, but it happened. Now we have the thing where we can treat them. So over time, we went from having massive losses to having hearing much about FIP for a very long time. And it's come back with a vengeance now, obviously. But I wonder if we're hearing more about it because people are able to treat it. Therefore, people are talking about it more because it's lost its stigma. The thing about it is, though, that the kittens that are being bred now that are coming down with FIP and then being treated with the drugs like Molly, those kittens, then they're still being taken out of the gene pool in the way that they're desexed and don't go on to be breeding cats, which is amazing. They're getting to help the breed and help the gene pool, but they're not actually having to do it by dying, which is, like I said, this is a difficult topic to think about. So that inbred immune weakness that they might have that's from their genes doesn't go forward because that kitten is desexed and doesn't breed. So the same effect in a much more positive way. So the idea about breeding cats, that treating coronavirus and breeding cats forward from that in a coronavirus-free cattery means that nature isn't weeding those immune weak cats out. You're breeding them forward. If you've got that inbuilt immunity issue there, you're breeding forward from that because those cats are never exposed to coronavirus, therefore they can't mutate into FIP. And okay, that's fine for you. You won't ever have a case of it. That's fine. But the moment those cats leave and go to boarding, they go to a vet, they go to anywhere, they're going to be susceptible. And they're going to be more susceptible because instead of having, one kitten that had the immunity issue going forward, that's been stopped. But that one kitten, if it went into a breeding program, could then spread that amongst a lot of cats. And that's what we saw when FIP first became a thing. It would have been spread for, this immunity issue had been just festering away under the surface, and it just took this virus to come in and it wiped out all the cats. And, I just think that now that we have a way for nature to select these cats and take them out of the gene pool without actually losing them, it's a terrible thing, but it's not the worst thing in the world, So the idea of eradicating coronavirus in your cats, I'm not on board for it. I mean, if my go-to expert, Dr. Richard Malik, said, yes, you should do it, then I'm sure I'll change my mind. But at the moment, I'm not changing my mind. I don't believe in eradicating herpes virus from your cats either. I just don't think it's possible. I think that it's better to manage a virus and to breed around a virus than to try and put yourself through hoops to try and eradicate it and breed in a bubble. So I'm never going to be a bubble breeder. I don't recommend bubble breeding. If you are a bubble breeder and it's working for you, that's great, but it's not something I'm going to go for. Just my opinion.